Alright, what's up guys? Good evening. Wednesday, September 17th, 2014. This is Max here again with WatchMadazTrade.com, and this is the Madaz After Hours Technical Analysis Sessions. So thank you all of you that attended the live trading session this morning, and thank you for all of you that are here tonight for the technical analysis sessions. And of course, if you guys don't know already, I will be hosting another live trading session for free, open to the public tomorrow for everyone as well. Link has been posted on my Twitter, and I'll post the link again in the chat room later on. And for those of you that aren't familiar, this session is mainly to go over charts, recap the day, go over some plans and strategies for tomorrow, and take some chart requests and answer some of your questions as well. And definitely this is a great opportunity for you guys to ask me some more detail-oriented questions that otherwise usually don't have time for during the live trading sessions, as we're mainly focused on trading stocks. So that being said, please use the WatchMadazTrade chat room via stockhaven.com by going to stockhaven.com, clicking on chat room, going to WatchMadazTrade for those of you that have access to do so. I do understand that some people aren't able to do that because you know, you're just listening and you're at work or whatever, but if you're able to do that, it'd be much more appreciated because it's a lot easier for me to see it. Okay, so got a question about the YouTube video resolution. Yeah, I don't know why it's like that. I uploaded it and it took forever to upload because it was like a gig, and I don't know why it won't show up. It usually shows up as 1080p within a couple minutes. I'm not sure why it's like that, but check up on it again later and see if it's still like that, and I'll re-upload it if it's still crappy quality. But it should have been high quality. If you look at my other videos, they're all 1080p. So you need to verify with mobile number for YouTube to stream longer than 15 minutes. So you're telling me I have to pretty much verify with my mobile number for the YouTube to give me 1080p option for videos that are longer than 15 minutes, or what? Oh, really? Okay. Okay, that's probably why then. I'll go ahead and fix that at the conclusion of this session. I wasn't aware that that was the case, so my apologies for that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go over some charts. Overall, it was a pretty slow day relative to the past couple days, so not that much action late in the day. So pretty much I was just frolicking around the house, working out and just cooking lunch and stuff. But overall, a little bit slow. So I'm anticipating, barring that we might get some nice new runners off the scanners in the morning, it might possibly be slow again tomorrow. But there was one pretty good power hour popper. That was MOBI, M-O-B-I, former runner. Another Chinese stock, of course, continuing the theme with Chinese stocks. Kind of taken off because of the whole Baba situation. You know, if you guys remember, MOBI was a runner from earlier this year. Stock ran from $6 to 12, and then it ran again a couple times during the summer. You know, it's made some okay, decent moves. Not really sure what the reasoning was for MOBI on this pop. Nobody ever really figured it out. Looks like yeah, so something happened. This conference or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Either way, MOBI got a nice little push in the last you know, 12 minutes or so. So it ran from $9 all the way up to 10.56, hitting $11 after hours. So this should be a nice stock to focus on for tomorrow. Pretty much when we've seen stocks that made nice moves and had a nice little continuation of the move after hours, we usually saw that the next day it got a nice little range and nice volume for us to take advantage of as traders. So hoping for more of the same tomorrow from MOBI. And pretty much if you look at the chart, the next resistance level, aside from the levels that you see here, $11, 10.50, around here, 10, 10.20, 10.15, 10.20, right? Those are the levels you want to watch off that we can get off the chart today. But if you look at the daily chart, pretty much the next resistance level will be around like 11.50 right here. And then above that, you got a couple wicks here, 12.15, 12.50s, 12.70. So those are the levels you want to watch for MOBI. So we want to see a clean 11 break. We want to see 10.50s and 10.20s hold tomorrow. 11 break. Let's see this thing run to 11.50, 12.15, 12.50s, and of course all-time highs at 12.69. Make sure that's the all-time highs. Yes, it is. So MOBI, good stock to focus on for tomorrow. One of the few stocks that actually made a move during power hour. So any questions on MOBI? Alright, so would I look for a break and hold above 11 for a clean break? Absolutely. I would probably expect this thing to be above 11 pre-market already, to be honest. I think tomorrow pre-market we should see some nice range, some nice volume on this thing, as we've seen with a lot of these stocks that took off. I mean, it only took off 12 minutes before the close, so it really hasn't had a chance to capture the attention of a lot of the traders out there. A lot of people probably missed this thing, you know, after a pretty dull power hour. A lot of people probably took the day off and probably missed this thing. So it's going to get a lot of attention pre-market. It's probably going to get a lot of attention at the open. So I would imagine this thing probably would gap up, maybe test 11.50, that resistance that I pointed out, and maybe trade in a range between 11 and 11.50. Who knows? But should see a break and hold of 11, and then 11.50s and 12 should come into play. So obviously my plan would be to wait for a dip of some sort. I'm not going to chase it, so it breaks to 11 and just takes off. I'm just going to let it take off and then let it back test 11, and then I'd probably get in on the 11 back test. As you guys know, that's pretty much how I trade. So however soon it happens, you know, sometimes we see this thing just take off right at the open. Sometimes we see it take off minutes before the open. And you know, if it shoots up to 11.50, I'd probably let that move happen, and then let it back test down to 11. Usually there's a lot of volatility, a lot of range at the open, so gonna wait for that and trade accordingly and wait for a dip. Awesome. So any further questions on MOBI before I move on to the next stock? Alright, awesome. So like I said, there wasn't that many stocks that were pretty much, I would say, they didn't catch my eye per se, but a couple other stocks that had nice moves. TKMR had a nice move, so I'm going to touch up on this one really quick. Got a nice little pop around 10:30, 10:45-ish, and traded in this nice little range here that you see. It's pretty defined between 20.4 and 21.5, and got a little bit of a sub level right here between 21 and about 21.25. So pretty much that's the channel right there. a little bit of a level here, but a little bit of a soft support. But overall, the big picture is 20.4, 21.5, so about $1.10 range. Does trade on lighter volume, but this is a good stock because every single time it pops, it seems to fade. So made a couple of bucks shorting this thing on these kind of moves down that you see right here. So TKMR popping on news, something about Ebola outbreak or whatever. So keep an eye on this one for shorts. Tends to fade on pops. 22 is a pretty stiff resistance, as it was unable to break out of 22 for a while in the past month or so. So keep an eye on this one. But it is a kind of a slower watch, a slower trader. It trades on lighter volume, so be careful with that. Alright, we got a question. How do we use Fibonacci retracement? It's not something that I'm really too familiar with because I don't really use it myself, but pretty much it's just another indicator that lets you determine support and resistance levels using a certain type of formula. But you basically just kind of pick the top of the range and the bottom of the range of a stock or whatever, and then you just drag it down. I think it's, you go to studies. So I guess I don't really use it, so I'm not really sure. Fibonacci, one of these. Not sure if it's arcs, retracements, right? Yeah, you do something like this, and that's how you get your support and resistance levels. As you kind of see here, it kind of lines up with the lines I already drawn without the use of Fibonacci levels already. So just to show you that it's a lot better if you just find the support and resistances yourself and use these kind of indicators like Fibonacci and whatnot as just tools to kind of confirm your own technical analysis, as opposed to relying solely on these kind of tools. But I've known a lot of people that use it to, you know, perfection. It works well with their strategy or whatever. But personally for me, I just feel like just determining my own support and resistance levels, it's a lot more, I'm a lot more comfortable doing that. But it definitely requires a lot more confidence and belief in your own abilities to come up with your own support and resistance levels. So so a lot of people like to use fibs, especially for people that like to predict unchartable you know, charts that don't have like they're in like a blue sky breakout or whatever, or making all-time lows. They like to use Fibonacci levels to predict it. So definitely read into that, but I don't have that much insight on Fibonacci retracements. I don't really use it that much. All right. So the next chart I want to touch up on, AVNR. Nice little run today. Faded really hard off of 13 the rest of the day, and pretty much your line in the sand is this level right here between 1220 and 1230, because after 1220 pretty much that's where the move, that's where the stock found support after this huge spike right here from 1180 to 1240. So you want to see 1220s holding tomorrow. 1230 is the first low you want to see hold, obviously, because that's where the stock kind of faded to and found support midday before this spike. So 1220, 1230 is the level you want to see hold tomorrow for AVNR. Do note that AVNR is traded on lower volume today compared to yesterday. You see significantly lower volume. So I want to see this thing trade greater than 440,000 shares to see the liquidity return to this thing. But overall right now, looking like a short against 13. Levels you want to watch tomorrow, pretty much right here, 1280s resistance, and then you got 1270s, and then support below that at soft support 1240, and harder supports at 1220 and 1230. 13 obviously the high of day the maximum resistance right there. So below 1220, this thing's probably going to make it beeline back toward 12 and lower. So we're going to clear up some of these lines right here. 1170, low of day, 1162. So there you go. What is your approach for determining size when going into a trade? So my approach is basically to gauge what the liquidity is in the market and what is the appropriate size that is proportional to that to how the stock is trading in terms of liquidity, right? So volume is a key factor in determining what your size should be. So if you look at your time in sales, usually it's pretty helpful because it's a predefined numerical number of shares that you see right there. So if you see a stock printing, say like on average 1,000 shares or something like that, it probably makes sense for you to trade in at most maybe 1,000 shares, just because that's the block size that's the most common, and it'll be easy for you to get in and out just in case that the stock goes against you. You don't want to be in a position where you're stuck with a lot of shares and the volume is not high enough for you to be able to sell your full position in case the stock goes against you. So be smart about it, and do note the prints do have a volume criteria, like you see on the charts. I draw these lines right here, so I know that this stock, okay, is trading below average volume, therefore I should maybe trade half a position. 250,000 shares is usually the stock is capable of trading that much. Now it's only trading, say, 100,000 shares, so maybe I should do half a position, a third position, a fourth position. Basically, that's something that you need to take into consideration when determining what size you should go in on your positions. Obviously, in the morning at the opening bell, the liquidity is going to be at the highest. There's going to be a lot of volume. At that point, you can go in with a larger position, but as the day goes on, typically the volume kind of tapers off, so you want to downsize your position and protect yourself from any sort of move against you, and you'll be able to sell the position in case that happens. Okay, so by going through your technical analysis for options trades, what do you look for to convince yourself to buy? So I actually haven't been trading options for a very long time, so I'm not sure that question is relevant to me. But in terms of finding which stocks I want to buy in general, basically I just want to find stocks with the best risk-reward setups. I guess if you're trading options, you'd probably use the same criteria. You want to find stocks that are pretty much at a level where you're comfortable buying the stock, right? So you want to buy the stock maybe close to a certain support level that you're comfortable with, and you want to make sure that there's a good risk-reward setup. So there's a good probability of this stock making a move higher if you're long and lower if you're short, obviously. And you want to make sure that the stock has the potential to make a good move in your favor, right? A nice little move versus the downside, right? So you want to buy the stock as close to the support level. You want to buy a stock where you're comfortable buying it. You want to buy a stock that's liquid also. It's for the same reason I answered the previous question. You want to be able to get in and out easily, just in case you got to liquidate the position quickly. And also, you want to find a stock that has a good risk-reward setup. So as you see my favorite risk-reward setup is the washout at the open. So I always wait for some sort of huge washout at the open. So the best example I can give you is RWLK. Unfortunately, it couldn't get filled this morning on the washout, but when RWK opened today at 37.39 and washed out to 36, that's a pretty big dip, $1.39 dip, and then it bounced back to 37. So that would be a nice, good risk-reward setup. You load in at 36. That was a previous support level from yesterday, which is where this line is drawn right there. It's a perfect dip right now, down to that nice whole number. You enter a position against 36, and then you sell the immediate pop to 37. So you made yourself a nice dollar per share within the first candle or within the first minute of the day. So that's an example of a good risk-reward setup that I like to find. some longer term setups is that maybe you find a stock kind of finding a key support level, like for example on RWLK right here, you see that the stock is not going below 33.3 cents. 33.3 is a key support level from RWLK. If you look at the chart, it is from right here, because if it goes below 33.3, it pretty much is going to go to 32 and then 30 bucks. So today it kind of found support around 33.3, and you could buy it comfortably with a tight stop against 33.33 or 32, and then ride it up and then sell it at your target, whatever your target may be. So just find a good risk reward setup, find something with a good probability where you're going to have a trade working out in your favor, and that's how you should do things. Do you do any swing trading? How does your strategy approach differ for such a trade? So if you guys know me, I rarely hold stocks overnight for the reason that I feel like it's extremely risky. I feel like it's just really difficult for me to sleep at night knowing that I'm holding a stock, especially some of these riskier low float small cap stocks, to just get some bad news overnight, just drop 50% out of the blue, you know, declare bankruptcy or, you know, whatever, have a second offering. A lot of BS that you guys probably heard of before in the market. So for that reason, I usually just don't hold stocks overnight. But if you were looking at a swing trading, there's nothing wrong with that. Just use the same rules. Just use it, instead of using a 3-minute time frame, use it on a 15-minute chart or maybe a 30-minute chart, daily chart. You know, the same concepts. Have a defined risk level. Have a good, comfortable buy zone. Determine a key level of support over a larger time frame instead of 3 minutes. Like I said, use a bigger time frame. Find that the stock is not going below a certain price level, so you buy it at close to support as possible, so you're comfortable with your trade, and have a target at a key resistance level. And it's the same strategy, just in a bigger time frame, and it just takes more time to materialize. So it's the same thing, really. Alright, when you buy a breakout and the price comes down to the breakout point to test, do you usually buy more in? So I rarely buy the breakout for the reason that there's lots of fake outs that happen, and you guys know that if you've been trading for a while. So I usually just let the move happen. So I just let the initial move happen and then let it bust through, and then whenever it back tests, that's when I actually get in. So I never really chase the breakout for the reason that you could just get the rug pulled on you really quickly and have the stock drop 10-20 cents against you. So I've always been a proponent against you know, chasing and buying breakouts for that reason. Always like to buy the subsequent dip after the breakout. That way you have a defined risk level, which is something I've been repeating over and over again. Always have a defined risk level to play against. You don't want to chase the stock and expose yourself to a move against you a lot lower without a defined risk level. So for that reason, I don't buy breakouts. Good question though. Alright, so the next chart I'm going to touch up on RWLK. Volume kind of tapered off on this one, but it did get some news midday. Like I said, pretty obvious range here between 33.3 and about 36. Let's just say 36. So pretty much 33.3, 36, the range tomorrow. I'm not sure this thing's going to be in play tomorrow. Needs some volume. You got some soft supports here around 33.6 and then 34.3. Around here around 35.2. So, but overall the big picture 33.3 to 36. Obviously a range above that 38 and then 39 and then 40, and below that of course 32 and then 30, and then a move below 30 would be pretty bad for this stock, as I believe this thing will pretty much move down toward 29 and then 28.3 and then pretty much 26 and 25 and a half. So looking for this thing to hold 30s tomorrow, but definitely needs a lot more volume. It's traded on significantly lower volume today. Also want to touch up on a couple of IPOs that are coming out tomorrow. So according to the NASDAQ.com website, RBIO was supposed to come out today, but it didn't, so it's going to come out tomorrow. Similar share structure to TKAI, which was a stock that was a nice little play today. We'll touch up on that in a second. RBIO IPO coming out tomorrow. VKTX coming out tomorrow. FOMX and PRQR. So 4 IPOs coming out tomorrow, the day before the BABA IPO set to come out on Friday. So again, RBIO, VKTX, FOMX, and PRQR. All low floats and all similar share structure to TKAI. So look for a similar move possibly on those stocks tomorrow. Alright, so I'm going to touch up on TKAI real fast. The stock made me the most money today. Predefined support levels. So I'm going to touch up on these really quick. So pretty much your levels, 25.5. And then you got a little soft level here at 22. Top end of this channel was 24.3. 25.4 or 25.3 is the after hours resistance. And then you got a little bit of a channel right here between 24.6 and 26.35. 27 breakout is obviously the key level that you want to see it break out for a move back toward 30 bucks. So pretty much that's the levels on TKAI. Volume wise, you want to see this thing trade at least, you know, this kind of volume right here when it's still tradable, around 320,000 shares. But ideally, of course, closer to 600,000 shares would be better. So that's pretty much TKAI. Speaking about new IPOs, will you be trading a new BABA IPO during its Friday launch at its price around 66? So it's now actually priced between 66 to 68 now. It's not priced between 60 and 66, so the price went up already. You definitely will be trading it. We'll trade it reactively, and we'll make sure that this is going to become the next Facebook in terms of IPOs. So definitely we'll be trading it on Friday. When you're scaling into a trade, what do you look for to prevent you from adding more shares? How do you know when to get out instead of adding more? Very good question. Definitely you have to determine your risk tolerance. First of all, you need to find out how comfortable you are with your entries. So you need to be able to make sure you're not chasing the stock and you end up with a really bad average or whatever. So I always just buy the stocks at the support levels that I have drawn right here. And depending on the risk-reward ratio, that's when I determine how many shares I'm going to add. So obviously, this morning you saw me, if you watched me trade live during the live trading session, you saw me average down twice on TKI because the stock, my first buy was a little bit off, only bought 100 shares because I felt like the risk-reward ratio wasn't that high, so I only had 100 shares. That's only 1/6 of my position. So I was able to leave some room for it to go down a little bit more, eventually bottom about at 25, and that's when I bought more shares. So I pretty much determined to myself that if this thing dropped below 25, which was a key support level at the time, I would just stop out altogether and take the loss. But it held 25s, and that's when I decided to add more. So pretty much you got to determine where your key levels of support are at and combine that with your risk tolerance and how comfortable you are with your position. So pretty much when I bought only 100 shares and I was down, you know, a couple bucks, I mean 200 bucks, it wasn't that big of a loss. So I was completely comfortable with holding that stock. Although I was trying to stop out, it just dropped too fast. But nonetheless, it dropped to another key support level at 25, and that's when I felt comfortable buying more shares. And once it held, I pretty much just sold the ensuing pop, as you saw, and ended up making a profit on the trade. So pretty much just determine your risk level and know the support levels like the back of your hand, know the stock, and you should be fine. you use the top of the wicks to determine the levels. Not necessarily. It's either the wicks or the body, depending on where the stock has tested multiple times. So pretty much if the stock tests the top multiple times with just the body, then you use the body. If it tests multiple times with the wicks, then you use the wicks. Right here you see the stock kind of testing 27 twice right here, so you're going to use the wicks, right? Right here you see kind of like closer to the bodies right here, 24.3, 24.39, so you use the body. So it's not necessarily the wicks or just the body, it's where the stock tests the level multiple times. Can you tweet those IPOs? Yes, I will tweet those IPOs. We'll do it at the conclusion of this session. Can you give an example of a trade where you scaled in versus where you versus when it didn't work, and how you minimized the loss? It's hard for me to think on the top of my head since I make so many trades a day, but there have definitely been times where I tried to scale in and it didn't work out, but it had to do more with me going in with too much size initially, and it kind of screwed up my mindset for a trade. I believe I can think of the top of my head, Pandora was a stock where I went in with too many shares and the stock just kept tanking or whatever, and pretty much broke my rules and ended up with a big loss. So definitely when you're buying this, when you're trying to buy a stock as it's falling, as they always say, catching the falling knife is not easy, especially when you're new. Always remember that you want to scale into the position slowly with small positions at a time, just in case that keeps tanking, and you need to know your support and resistance levels. So be very, very careful with that. Scale in with smaller positions, that way you can trade more at ease and you're more comfortable with your position, and that way you don't freak out or whatever, or start thinking irrationally and start averaging down by doubling or tripling down with your full position, because that's a sure way to end up with a big loss. Are the levels shown on your charts on TOS platform? How can I put those on? Thanks. So pretty much these are level. This is a Thinkorswim platform. If you want to draw the support and resistance levels, it's really easy. Just click on this icon right here, click on price level, and you just go and draw the lines wherever you want, and you go to properties and you click on color, pick whatever color you want, style. I pick the dotted style, and that's pretty much it. You could change the width, make it a thicker line if you want, but that's pretty much all there is to it. And also click on extend, I think left extension and right extension, so it goes across the entire chart, and no matter where you scroll it, it's still going to be there. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so yeah, like I said, I will tweet those IPOs at the conclusion of this session. And you can also watch this session again too, so don't worry about it. Do you scale in with the same amount of shares? Like I said, it depends. Can't really definitively say, but more or less, when I determine that I'm going to go in with, say, 1/4 of a position, or I'm going to buy at most 1,000 shares of the stock, then I'm going to buy maybe 250 shares first, another 250 shares, another 250 shares, or whatever. But pretty much I usually determine what's my maximum position that I'm comfortable with before I scale in. What else do you look for other than support and resistance and volume? Or any other tools, scanners perhaps? So I keep it simple. I've been trading for 3.5 years. I've played with a bunch of indicators, you know, simple moving averages, exponential moving averages, Fibonacci's, RSI, MACD, and all that mumbo jumbo. And I pretty much found out that those are all lagging indicators. They're all reacting to what the market is showing you, what the chart says, right? So why bother with lagging indicators that are crowding up your chart? Instead of doing that, just stick to just good old support and resistance, which is basically pretty definitive, and volume is pretty definitive. Volume doesn't lie, right? So I stick to just support, resistance, and volume, as those are pretty much live, and pretty much it's all you need, really. I mean, it's worked for me for the past 3 years for the most part. When I first started, I had a bunch of stuff on my chart. I just ended up crowding my chart. Couldn't even see the candlesticks at that point. It's just pretty much took up space. So Once I started taking out indicators slowly, and just simplify things, it was a lot more easier for me to determine my technical analysis on stocks, and it definitely works. Support and resistance and volume is all you need. Take my word for it, trust me. How come you use daytrader for level 2? Pretty much because the level 2 on E-Trade and Thinkorswim lags so bad that I lost a ton of money because of it, and I pretty much just said screw it, I'm just gonna pay the whatever, a couple $100 a month and not lose thousands of dollars on the laggy level 2. So eventually I paid enough commission so that's waived anyway, so it made a no-brainer. It was absolutely kind of stupid for me to trade on the laggy Thinkorswim level 2 for the longest time. So you guys might want to look into that. Don't trade on a laggy level 2. I mean, you're already at a disadvantage as a retail trader already, with all the all the proprietary guys in New York having the fancy software and stuff. So don't put yourself at a further disadvantage by using a laggy level 2. So daytrader, it's fast, it's real time. I would also recommend RWLK and Sterling Pro as good platforms with lives level 2 that's pretty much up to date. Do you do any mobile trading? Definitely not. I definitely do not recommend somebody to trade using their cell phone. That seems to be a disaster waiting to happen. Funny story, when I first started trading options, I did try to trade options on my phone this one time, and I ended up losing 70% on that trade because I couldn't sell it fast enough. So pretty much a good lesson, don't try to trade, especially options, weekly options expiring on Friday, using your cell phone. Alright, so far I've gone over a couple of charts, getting some good questions, gone over 4 charts. So any questions on TKMR, TKAI? I haven't gone over TKAI yet. So TKAI, oh, I did go over it. Okay, yeah, I did go over TKAI. So any questions on TKMR, TKAI, RWLK, or AVNR, and also MOBI as well. So I went over that one as well. Pretty much tomorrow, going into tomorrow, MOBI is probably my favorite setup. The other setups kind of not really as appealing, as they didn't really pop in the last couple of minutes. Didn't really have an eventful power hour. So just gonna watch out for those. During your trading career, how did you get over your trading slumps? What methods did you do to get back on track? So the first thing is you need to have the right mindset, right? So you need to go out there and be really confident in what you're doing. And if you're having a slump, obviously your confidence is going to be lower, right? So you need to go out there, maybe clear your mind, maybe take a break, take a quick break. Maybe take a week off. There's nothing wrong with that. Go clear your head, go do something, get trading out of your system. Go on vacation. Do something that is not related to trading. Clear your mind a little bit, come back, and then this is very important. As you guys know, I did have a pretty bad slump over the summer. I have since recovered it. So this is how I did it. Pretty much, you gotta be a man about it and admit that you were wrong. Obviously, the people that fail and refuse to admit that they're failing, that are very stubborn about it, will never improve, right? So the first step is admitting what you were doing did not work and it was wrong, right? And secondly, you gotta figure out how you're gonna fix that by coming up with a plan, right? Kind of pointing out, okay, this is where I did wrong. This is how I'm gonna improve on it. And then this is the most important part, is that when you do try to execute your plan to remedy your situation, you want to ease back into it and not just gung-ho it. Okay, so for me, the way I went about doing this was playing with small positions, going back in. My mistake was going in too big during the summer when the volume was too low. Experienced a lot of big losses where I got stuck with a big amount of shares, couldn't get out. That contributed to a lot of my losses during the summer. So what I did was I scaled down my positions, first of all, to just build confidence, build a little bit of a winning streak. So I'm on a 19-day winning streak, so I'm feeling good, feeling confident. I was able to do that by playing with smaller positions. The risk tolerance was a lot higher, and I was able to kind of execute my trading style and my plan a lot more with a lot more pinpoint accuracy. With smaller position, I was a lot more comfortable. I was not emotionally involved in the trade, right? So you want to come back with a smaller position, ease back into it, and then kind of gradually size back up. 250 shares, maybe then you go to 500 shares, then 750 shares, 1,000 shares. You don't want to go 250 shares and all of a sudden, okay, I'm back to normal. I'm going to go 10,000 shares, right? You don't want to do that, because all it takes is another big loss off your big position, and you're back to where you were. Right? You just canceled all of the work you just did just to try to get back. So pretty much what I'm doing is just scaling with small positions, building some confidence, and there's nothing wrong with it. My gains have been pretty solid. I'm up $20,000 in the last 19 days. I feel like that's pretty solid. It's been consistent. That's the key thing, that it's being consistent. I'm not making 10 grand and losing 20 grand, so consistently making $1,000 a day on average is pretty much, I'm pretty much content with that. So going to build up on that, eventually ease back into size, and then the gains will come as we go along. Alright, any indicators that GPRO will tank? Right now, really tough to short anything with the market, just kind of all over the place around this 200 level, but pretty much I would say if it double tops again at 71.42, which is the high, it could be a sign that it could top out there. But right now GPRO has pretty much survived every single dip that it's experienced up to this point, so I wouldn't really think it's going to tank anytime soon. But right now, if you look at GPRO's chart, intraday wise, it traded in a range between 66.4, 66.3, and 68.2, and it's been trading on lighter volume. So in consolidation near the highs, so I'd still say that GPRO is bullish for the most part. Long MOBI on a pullback, absolutely. Wait for a pullback, get in. Do you have a trading mentor, or do you have been doing well? Have you been doing well on your own? Well, I wish I had a mentor. That way I wouldn't have started losing so much money when I first started. But definitely I learned a lot of this on my own through experience and experiencing massive losses when I first started. So definitely would have liked to have had a mentor, but if you can get a mentor, a lot better. That's why I'm here to help you guys cut your learning curve down. I don't want you guys to end up, with a big loss right when you're starting out trying to figure out things. When you're trying to figure out things in the beginning, no matter what you're doing, it's going to be an iterative process, and more often than not, it's going to end up in a lot of failure. So we want to minimize that as much as possible, so you guys don't lose your money right when you first start. You'll be out of the game faster than you know it. So that's why I said play small, give yourself a chance to learn, and don't blow up your account by going in and going for that home run right away, because that's a sure way to lose. Alright, I'm going to go over one chart real quick and take the next series of questions. Don't want to take up too much time, even though I try to trade robotically and mechanically, I'm still human. I still need to eat dinner, so gonna go over a couple more charts and take a couple more questions. So SINO, the reason why I'm going to talk about this, even though it's down 14%, the short sale restriction is on because it's down 14%, and a couple of stocks from last week, SCOK and NETE, managed to pop out of the short sale restriction. So I'm going to put this one on that list as well. Pretty much today, downtrending piece of crap stock, down to 266, close near the lows. You want to see this thing break above this line right here around 284, and then $3, 320, and then above that, pretty much the highs at 360, and then you got 395, 407, and then you got right here 430, 437, 454, and of course the highs at 469. So it could see a little bit of a nice retracement here. This thing is down over $2 off the high, so a bounce to maybe 360, not too bad, dollar bounce, but the volume definitely needs to return. The volume is pretty much next to nothing on this one, so I want to see a volume return to at least these levels. So I'm looking for an NETE SCOK like move from last week on the short sale restriction. Watch out for this one. There is a lot of support here in the 260s as this was consolidating here. A lot of volume traded above this level, so look to see this level hold and see if we can get a short sale restriction bounce on SINO tomorrow. I want to see volume trading closer to like 600,000 shares, 800,000 shares the first 3 minutes. Today pretty much trading 100,000 shares or less, but keeping this one on watch just in case for a short sale restriction spike. Alright, off topic, but do you use non-co or just daytrader Pro platform? No, I don't use non-co, but I've seen non-co in action, and a lot of people that use non-co have had good experiences from it. So definitely, if you want to find out more information about non-co, send me an email, max@watchmadaztrade.com. Definitely, I can hook you up with that information. What do you think will happen to Apple FBSCTY in the coming weeks? I haven't really been paying attention to Apple, SCTY, or Facebook, so to be honest, you don't really have much of an opinion on it. So sorry about that. How long did it take you to start being consistent? It took me, I would say, about a year or a year and a half to be consistent. So consistency is obviously what people look for. Definitely, I waited until I was extremely consistent before I quit my job to trade full time, and that's definitely something that you guys want to consider before quitting your job. I know a lot of people, they quit their job kind of prematurely, but always wait for you to be very consistent to decide to do this full time. Also, did you go through your watch list individually or use scanners? How do you figure out what to trade the next day? So lots of things I look for is stocks with active end of day trading. So a lot of stocks that have good volume end of day. So for example, MOBI is a good example of that. Definitely going to be on my watch list. Other stocks will be good chart setups or stocks that have defined ranges with good volume. Stocks like AVNR would make my watch list. TKMR, good range, needs some more volume but good range. RWLK, nice defined range. Also scanners, of course, would be helpful as well. But overall, my most favorite setups would be momentum stocks with good volume going to the close. So honestly, my only favorite setup right now is MOBI. The other one's kind of like whatever, but MOBI is probably my favorite setup for that reason. It has a lot of eyes on it going into the close, good move after hours, and we'll see tomorrow how it plays out. How did you do it trading with a full-time job? So I was fortunate enough to work with a very, very clueless boss who didn't know what the hell was going on. Basically, I had my E-Trade Pro platform at the time open blatantly on my work computer, but I put it in like a really small window in the corner of my computer. So that, give me a second. Because in case you need to call your broker, your computer crashes and your battery backup is dead and everything is dead, have your phone there so you can call your broker and you can tell them to bail out of your position. So that's why I have my phone there. But the downside of that is you get a bunch of solicitors calling you when you're trying to focus on other things. So, all right. So back to what I was saying. So basically, I had my E-Trade Pro platform blatantly open at my job. My boss is pretty clueless about it, and I had it in a really small window. I still had to be secretive about it, but for the most part, that's how I did it. But then afterwards, I moved up to a different department, and other boss wasn't as clueless, so I pretty much did it with a laptop, and then I kind of just closed the lid every time I kind of suspected he would come by. And also, what I did later on was I used a program called TeamViewer. I would have my platform loaded at home, and I would use TeamViewer to remotely access my computer at home, and then I could look at the level 2s and charts on my phone. So that's how I did it at work. So that's something you might want to do. Don't get fired though. I mean, keep your job, you know. Always make sure you have the more certain thing locked in. Alright, so I think that's pretty much all the charts that I had. Any chart requests? Alright, VIMC. And please limit the stocks on the chart requests to stocks that have volume and you know, none of that blocky stuff. Like, you know, stuff like TAPM. Yeah, I'm not going to go over like a chart like that because this is, I mean, what is this, right? So yeah, VIMC. So VIMC was on my watch list yesterday. I didn't really pay much attention to it today because there are better stocks that are in play. But pretty much your channel right here, pretty obvious. Overall channel 760 to 870. You got a sub channel here between $8 and $8.40. A little bit of a soft support here at 780, so that's pretty much what you're looking for volume-wise. You want to see this thing trade closer to 140,000 shares in the first 3 minutes. So that's pretty much VIMC. TEMN, blocky chart. Like I said, this is exactly the stuff that I don't want to touch up on. Don't trade stocks like this, guys. This is, I mean, what is this? You know what I mean? Just avoid trading stocks like this, guys. Just trust me. Are you gonna trade BABA? Yeah, absolutely. I think I've gotten that question 1,000 times today, or so in the last week, but definitely we'll trade the BABA IPO. SFTBY. Alright, so pretty much your levels right there. Alright, so you're made a new low at the end of the day, so pretty much broke this little support level at 39.86, made a new low at 39.8. Stock kind of trades on low volume. Resistance 40.14, resistance at 40. Then you got a little bit of a soft level right here at 39.93. Overall, this thing trades in too tight of a range for me to be interested in too low of a volume. You look at the daily chart, where this thing tends to gap a lot. So very nervy hold overnight on this thing. This thing has a gap fill, looking like a gap fill maybe toward 38.50. So very difficult to chart this thing. But looking like the support is at 38.60 right here below that, and then you got a little bit of a level right here around 39.3, 39.4, which is where the wick of this candle here in line with this candle right here. So your support below that low of 39.8, it's going to be 39.3, and then below that gap fill that I pointed out, 38.6. So that's pretty much SFTBY. Alright, so Soma. Pretty blocky chart, but I'll just go over it really quick. Pretty tight range, 458 to 471. Low volume, so not entirely interested in this one. Too tight of a range. $5 resistance and support at 430s, 430, 438. So overall, this thing trades in too tight of a range. These are the levels that you want to watch, though. 458, 471 below that, 454, 440s below that. Above that, of course, you got $5. But like I said, too tight of a range. Any advice you can say to a 16-year-old options trader? Definitely start off small. Don't gung-ho it. Don't try to become a millionaire overnight. And give yourself a chance to actually learn how to trade instead of trying to hit that home run with a lucky trade. I mean, there's lots of stories out there, people saying they make 1,000%, 10,000% and stuff like that, and that's the lure of options, right? They say like, yeah, you know, make 1,000% a day or whatever, right? But just trading is about consistency, guys. It's about making 10, 20, 30% consistently over and over again. It's not about making 10,000% and then losing 100% in one hit later on. So give yourself a chance to learn actually how to trade, figure out how things work, do technical analysis, learn how to tape read with a level 2 and all that. Learn the skill. Don't just learn to get lucky. That's my advice. Alright, AGRX, downtrending stock. This looks like a piece of crap. Don't trade this stock, guys. ARTX, another stock, don't trade it. You see the pattern here? Don't trade these stocks that trade no volume, and the chart looks like, you know, it looks like nothing. It looks like just dots and lines. I mean, what is that? MDXG, a little bit better, but still the same thing. 7 at 720 is your range. Support below that, 698 and then 685. But still trading next to nothing volume. Just don't even bother with this thing. If you're in this stock, you know, just you might want to consider trading some stocks with more volume. What do you mean by soft support and soft resistances? So soft support and soft resistances are levels in a stock where the stock kind of just tests it like a couple times or maybe just once, and it doesn't respect it the next time. So I would say a good example of maybe a soft support would be on AVNR. Maybe, let's see, I would say maybe this is a soft resistance or whatever right here at 1268, because the stock kind of based out here a little bit and then kind of just dove through it. Well, not really. I mean, 1270 kind of tested again, but basically soft support is where the stock kind of just tests it like once, and then the second time around it kind of just blows through it and doesn't really respect it again. That's what I call soft support. A hard support is where the stock kind of bounces off of it multiple times, and that's like a really key support level. So that's the difference between soft and hard support. Do you have daily goals? If you hit a goal, do you keep trading? I don't really have a daily goal, but I definitely can gauge by the liquidity of the market at the open from experience what is my realistic, you know, profit goal for the day. So if I look at the open, it's like, okay, it's probably gonna be a slow day or whatever. Realistically, I'm probably gonna make $500, right, or $1,000. Then I'm gonna be like, all right, so I'm gonna try to hit that little range right there, and if I can't make any more money after that, I'm just gonna not force any more trades and just take the $500 and just walk. But I never go into a day without, you know, any information say, I'm just going to aim to make $500 a day. I'm going to stop after that, because you never know there's going to be any opportunities that may pop out at any given time, right? So the market's fickle, it's random, right? So you want to go in there, wake up pre-market, and kind of gauge the action, gauge the open, see how much volume there is, how many stocks are in play. Are the moves continuing? Are the moves dying out? Are the stocks fading out? The volume disappearing? Are the volumes increasing? You want to kind of take all these into consideration, right? So these, if there's opportunities, you should always be taking advantage of them. If there's no opportunities, you should be just sitting on your hands and just chilling, really. So I can kind of gauge that it's going to be a slow day or a fast day, and kind of gauge how much money I'm realistically probably am going to be making. But nonetheless, if there's opportunities, always be taking advantage of them. PIX, downtrending stock. So don't like this stock for long for sure. This thing looks like a total piece of crap on the long side. So if you're short this thing, you're up a good amount. Your target for the shorts should be this little previous resistance level that should act as support, 16.414, and below that you got 15.28, 15.3, and below that you got 14.18. So this thing looks like a total short. I would definitely short all pops on this thing. this thing pops to maybe 17 bucks or something like that, definitely would take a short on this stock. Total downtrending piece of crap. NY. Nice little pop out of the gate. Based out right here on 6 bucks. Got a little bit of a nice grind back towards 7, so 6 and 7, your little channel right there, and then you got 7.50 and 8 bucks. Pretty much predefined obvious channels, 6, 7, 7.50, 8. To play according to that volume, want to see this thing traded closer to this candle right here, 250,000 shares. If you look at the daily chart, let's see the stock, if it breaks 8, which looks like a pretty critical resistance level, it could make a move to 869, 939, that high on the 52 week. So looks pretty good there, good volume. Could be a nice stock on watch for tomorrow. Alright, so weekly, monthly, I'm assuming you're asking about the profit goals. Like I said, I don't really have any goals, just kind of gauge if there's opportunities that allow you to profit, take advantage of them. If not, just chill. So this is something that I definitely made a mistake in the summer, was not accepting that it was a lot more difficult to profit, and not accepting that it was a slower time period with less opportunities. So definitely kind of gauge what the opportunities are, and have realistic profit goals according to the amount of opportunities that are being presented to you by the market. Anywhere near 7 figures soon? Hopefully very soon. But of course, with the more money you make, the bigger check that you have to write to Uncle Sam. So I pay quarterly taxes. Got to write a pretty big 5-figure check to the IRS every 3 months or so. So that's never fun. What time do you wake up to check pre-market? So I wake up to check pre-market usually around 5 to 5:30 a.m. my time, so that's 8 to 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that's when I usually start checking it, but I'm not really at my desk. I'm kind of just hanging around, washing my face, brushing my teeth and stuff, and just checking it intermittently. I'm actually sitting at my desk when I start my live trading session at 6 a.m., which is 9 a.m. Eastern time. Alright, so do you trade through your own LLC? No, I think I just declared mark to market and just declared myself as a trader. So most of your setup is the night before. Yes, absolutely. Always prepare the night before and adjust accordingly according to the pre-market action. Alright guys, so it is 7:30 and I do need to eat dinner, but I'll take up to 5 more questions, and we'll call it the session. I will be posting it on YouTube once I figure out how to upload in 1080p. Apparently the new rules. So what tools do I look for? Pre-market action, scanners, obviously, high-low ticker. This high-low ticker thing that daytrader has is pretty useful as well. Twitter, find out what people are talking about. Other chat rooms, find out what people are talking about, and obviously stocks that you had on your watch list the night before, see if they're getting the follow-through action that they did the previous day. What other chat rooms am I in? Well, my friend has been kind enough to lend me his Investors Underground account, so I do have access to Investors Live chat room, also the Sykes chat room as well. Those are the 2 chat rooms that I currently have access to, thanks to my generous friend. Chat room was Investors Live chat room and this Timothy Sykes chat room. Am I going to Vegas? Probably very soon. maybe I make another 20K in the next 20 days. I'll do it. No, I'm not going to be going to that. Alright guys, so I'll take 3 more questions. Am I averaging 100K plus per year? Yes, that was one of my requirements. I had to average 6 figures 2 consecutive years in a row for me to quit my job. So that was one of my criteria that I used to quit my job. Income tax rate, not good. I'll tell you, it's over 30%. Nah, I'd rather just trade on my own. I don't want to trade for somebody else. Alright guys, 2 more questions. When you quit, were you scared? No, I was not scared because I waited, like I said, if you were in a live trading session this morning, I said that I waited until I had 6 times my annual salary. So I was pretty content with the amount of money I had. Even if I lost 100 G's or whatever, I still would have been fine. So I waited for myself to have a really solid cushion, and I also factored in, taxes and all that, and I was pretty comfortable. At that point, I was very consistent with trading already. I knew that I was pretty confident in my abilities, and I was able to comfortably quit my job. So everyone has their own risk tolerance, right? And everyone has their own level of comfort that they need to reach in order to take a leap, a pretty big leap, such as quitting their full-time job and going into full-time trading, right? For me, it was having 6 times my annual income salary in my bank account or my trading account or whatever, and pretty much I had to have made 2 years consecutive of $100,000 or more, and I also had to pretty much be consistent enough, as in profitable, 70-80% of the time, for me to be very comfortable with quitting the job. Because I worked as an engineer, it was a good paying job, so it wasn't that easy. I wasn't exactly working at McDonald's here, so it was kind of tough to leave, but in the end, I was actually more or less losing money by missing plays by going to work, so that's what made me decide to do it. You think Stock Tips is losing his shine? Yeah, I think so. And penny stock promotion is pretty much dying out as it is. So, are you naked like Bubba Bing asked you? It's really hot right now in California. It's like over 100 degrees. So I'm actually not wearing a shirt. So maybe that will arouse you there. How many hours would you say you put into trading per week on average? It depends on what you mean by that, but overall I would spend, say, an hour doing technical analysis, up to an hour, and obviously I trade full time during the day, but not always trading the full time. I usually trade between 6:30 a.m. my time to about maybe 9 o'clock, which is lunch hour, or maybe a little bit less than that depending on how the market is trading that day. So 6:30 to 8, 6:30 to 8:30, 6:30 to 9. It's always good to take a break from the market because obviously, I don't know if you guys know about this, but sitting is one of the worst things you could do for yourself. You could cause yourself some serious back problems from just sitting at a desk at all times. So that's why a lot of people that work in an office end up with serious back pain and all that. So I always recommend getting up, stretching, walking around, working out, go outside, do something like that. So between 9 and say like 11:30 my time, so that'll be 12 to about 12 to 2:30. That's when I just go out, cook some breakfast, take a nap or something, and go and do something else. But other than that, yeah, I just spend pretty much the first couple hours and then the last couple hours and then an hour every night doing technical analysis. Alright, so this is going to be the last question. So typical watch list size every day. I typically focus on just try to narrow it down to 4 stocks, because obviously you don't want to focus on like 100 stocks at the same time, because you're going to get screwed, because you're going to be confused, don't know what to focus on. I just picked 4 stocks that I want to focus on. That's why I have 4 stocks on one screen. That's my main screen. I'm going to focus on those. Obviously things might change the morning of pre-market. You know, might get some better plays. Maybe some of the plays I thought would be in play just kind of die out. Who knows? But definitely try to narrow it down to 4 stocks. So you know, you want to simplify things, right? The name of the game is just to simplify things. Don't confuse yourself. And in the end, who really cares how you do it? As long as you get the end result, as long as you add profits to your pockets, that's all that really matters. Alright guys, so that's all the questions that I had. So that's also all the trust that I had. So thanks a lot for coming, guys. Really, really awesome session. Really good questions. But pretty much at this point, gotta go grab some dinner. So thanks a lot for coming, guys. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Do sign up for the free trading session tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and post the link. Don't go anywhere. Give me 5 seconds. I'm going to post the link to tomorrow. If you haven't signed up already, sign up for the live trading session tomorrow. There we go. Now it's posted. Alright guys, so thanks a lot for coming. Have a wonderful evening. And be up bright and early tomorrow. 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Alright guys, have a good night.